Spawning up in the top left-hand position as the blue Zerg player. Representing XMG, it is SaltTheWound. And his opponent up in the top right, the yellow Zerg player. From Alien Invasion, it is HaNfy.
That it is. The map's going to be Frost, matchup's going to be ZVZ. And this is a map that actually can lead to some really cool ZVZ shenaniganry. Long games can happen, but in horizontal spawns, I'll be very interested to see if anybody goes for a cheese.
It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, we don't see any like particularly early pools or anything happening. They'll know where they've both spawned in about 2 seconds when these overlords do high five.
No. There we go. So they're aware where each other is spawning. This is all good. This is where we could see a more aggressive stance get taken. Now, bear in mind that these two are in the losers bracket of the group. Therefore, whoever loses this, unfortunately, there is no second chances. There's no runner-up prize. They are out. Admittedly, they do still get some euros, which is always good. But the winner of this goes on to face Zoke in a best-of-3 decider match to decide who finishes second in the group. Of course, SaltTheWound has already gone up against Zoke. HaNfy hasn't, though.
Yeah, SaltTheWound was... I believe he was the one who was defeated 2-0.
He was, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sokka showing us some very, very strong PvZ, I imagine. HaNfy, though, is a guy who does really wonky, weird, and wacky stuff, and that can always be a bit of an annoying factor for the Protoss to try to factor in. You know, that's the kind of player who Sokka is going to have to look out for to knock him off his pedestal as the favorite to go through in second, I'd say.
I think it could be really cool to see. But of course, we've got to get through this game first. Now, it's no secret, Penguin. You are much better at Zerg than I am. Specifically, ZVZ, you are far superior at.
Am I? I seem to remember you winning once when I had 70% handicap on.
Yeah, that
it was
one...
a close affair, but you won.
I know, but I don't like to discuss that one because of the 70% handicap. But anyway, to my point. From these openings so far, things looking fairly similar. Slightly sooner gas for SaltTheWound. What can we be expecting going into the mid-game now?
Well, basically, this is all looking pretty standard here. SaltTheWound going for the gas before pool, if I'm reading this correctly. And that'll allow him to get a nice early speed. This is a kind of map where you can definitely go into double upgrade Zerglings on, and that's something that I wouldn't be too surprised to see Salt do. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we just have a pretty ordinary gas timing for HaNfy, nothing too out of the ordinary, and he can pretty much do anything from here. This doesn't really tell us all that much, except for that he's not going to be playing Gasless Hyun super weird style.
Well, again, keeping the gas up is still leading to lots of possible options, so nothing too crazy yet. Bailingless is coming down though for SaltTheWound. Bailingless at the front as well, so he's not trying to hide or anything. It's in a good defense position where you can hide a Tucker Queen in there just to keep it safe from Lings. Meanwhile, from HaNfy, his Zergling speed is about a quarter done at the moment. He does now have enough gas to start a Bailingless if he wants to, and that is precisely what he's about to do.
We don't see either player playing particularly greedy. One of the things that I like to do on... Actually, in ZVZ in general, I was going to say on this map, but recently I've just been kind of doing it all around, is if you're playing against somebody who you expect to not all-in you, and if you have such good scouting information like these guys have had from the beginning, you can do something crazy like go lair before Baneling Nest. And then if you're going Muta versus Muta, you have a huge lead in the upgrade because your Spire is going to be done way before. Stuff like that is really, really cool. But this is the losers match, and these guys are opting to play a little bit safer here, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see HaNfy pull out an all-in at some point, whether it be Roachbane or something else. But thus far, he actually seems to just be droning to his heart's content. We do have an Evo Chamber going down in the back of the base for him, though.
And both double Evo Chamber coming down for SaltTheWound.
Yeah, not surprised by this at all by Salt. Based on the gas before pool for him, he's going to be able to start up both of the upgrades as soon as these Evo Chambers finish. It's going to be really, really nice for him. And 1-1-lings are pretty hard to deal with if you're on Lings yourself. Unless,
of course, you've got a decent Baneling connection, so too.
But of course, the thing to remember as well is that with +1 Carapace, the Banelings require one more drone. The Banelings need 2 hits to kill the Lings.
Exactly, which does make them a bit more durable. It makes it a lot harder to get those connections that you need, but it is still doable. We've got to keep an eye out to see exactly what they're planning. SaltTheWound getting his own Banelings out too, remember, so he does have that and a third hatchery, just counteracting the fact that a third hatchery is also coming down from HaNfy, although... Oh no, HaNfy actually responding to SaltTheWound as his was fractionally later. So, really these two playing pretty similar builds. The biggest difference for the moment is just the double upgrades, which are about to get scouted.
Oh,
ooh,
yes.
No they don't!
well, they don't get scouted, but with that many Lings, does HaNfy actually know about the third base? Let me check quickly. No, he doesn't. So this could be an all-in from HaNfy's perspective. What this is, though, this isn't an all-in so much as this is a pressure to cancel the third. And basically what SaltTheWound's going to want to do is just continuously pile on the pressure with these Lings. They're not 1-1 yet. They will be in about a half a minute or so, or a minute and a half, rather. And until then, he just has enough of a Ling lead that he should be able to force a cancel on this base if the Banelings don't get amazing connections. And good bait so far from SaltTheWound, playing pretty well. That Baneling was pretty... Oh,
good hit.
As soon as I say that,
That's
this aggression. Yeah, that's this aggression absolutely nipped in the bud. And, you know, the lair is done. We have an Infestation Pit coming out, and HaNfy's actually going for the same style as SaltTheWound, just with slightly later gas and, as a result, fractionally later upgrades. But with the earlier lair, he'll have the Infestors up much, much quicker.
So this is where things kind of end up in the same mid-game point. Neither player has taken significant losses as of yet, both losing plus or minus about 100 resources from the 500 mark. But that's all about to change. 11 Banelings on their way out here for HaNfy.
Oh, and he baits out both of the Banelings for SaltTheWound. SaltTheWound's 1-1's about to complete, but +1 Carapace is already done for HaNfy. He'll take a favorable engagement until that 1-1 is done. 1-1 completes now. A couple of Banelings coming in here for Salt. Will he be able to connect with the Banelings of his opponent? No. Good splitting coming out of HaNfy so far, and while the Lings of HaNfy are being forced back, the Banelings are moving forward, but brilliant moves here with the Lings, taking out almost all of the Banelings, and each Ling tanking 2 Banelings is just making this so much harder for HaNfy to make work.
HaNfy attempting to try and get in there, but unfortunately he's not able to do so. Counter aggression coming in from HaNfy now, from SaltTheWound to HaNfy. Some Baneling detonations will go down, but as we can see, this is just getting so tough for both these two, so micro-intensive. The drone count, pretty similar, 46 to 45, but SaltTheWound coming in with more Lings now, both with the 1-1 Ling upgrades, but big Baneling detonations spell the end to that.
The big thing up until those Baneling detonations is that SaltTheWound got the +1 attack way earlier, which doesn't immediately seem like it's as important since the Carapace is what makes the Lings tank more. But with the +1 attack, all of a sudden the Banelings one-shot the Lings again. So while HaNfy had to expend 2 Banelings every single time he wanted to kill Lings till his +1 was done, SaltTheWound's Banelings were able to trade much more efficiently. And now, once again, HaNfy's going to try the same sort of tactic again, but SaltTheWound has scouted it, and he has a lot of Lings himself out.
He does. He's only got 3 Banelings, though, which could be a little bit problematic. The Banelings wandering forward now. Going to try and get some good detonations, specifically on the drone line if they can. A couple more hits will go down. 1 Baneling does remain, but of course it takes 2 Banelings to kill Banelings regardless of upgrade levels. So now a few more detonations go through. HaNfy able to take out the Queen. His Banelings still pushing forward. Going to try and get one more connection if they can up in the natural base. They are on creep the Queen, attempting to snipe them off. A detonation still goes down, able to save the drones, but the third is about to fall with just a wraparound of those speedlings. HaNfy now 1 base up and in a very nice spot.
And more Banelings coming in. This is some really cool aggression out of HaNfy. This is not all in, by the way. This is just delaying his Infestors, but it's him saying, I can do this. I can continue to push on. I can win this game here and now. SaltTheWound is down 20 supply. In a mirror matchup, you never want to be in that position. GG is called, and HaNfy takes a pretty unorthodox game number 1.